I have the honor to welcome our next panelist. We have with us today Mr. Henok Sirak, Ethiopian Airlines Area Manager. Mr. Henok, could you please join us? Thank you. Okay, so Mr. Henok Sirak is a young aviation professional. I love to see young leaders. It's so exciting, right? He's currently working as the area manager of Ethiopian Airlines, Egypt. He joined Ethiopian Airlines in 2013 as a customer service agent after completing airline ticketing and reservation training at Ethiopian Aviation Academy, and worked at the airline's customer service offices for more than 3 years. Mr. Henok has also worked in different capacities in the PR and corporate communications department of the airline for more than 5 years, where he had the opportunity to unleash his extraordinary potentials. During his assignment as manager group PR and corporate communications of the airline, he was one of the major actors of the airline in boosting and protecting the brand and reputation of the company globally. His last assignment was in Enugu, Nigeria, as traffic and sales manager of the airline, and served for about 2 years. His role was overseeing the airline's sales, marketing, and operation in Enugu. Mr. Henok has got awards and recognitions from managers and customers of the airline for his much admired achievements. He was recognized for his special contribution in managing crisis through effective public relations and communications, and he holds a master's degree in marketing management. Thank you so much. We're really honored to have you, Mr. Henok. Thank you.
And it's always a pleasure for all of us at Ethiopian Airlines to talk about tourism and to work about African tourism. So I'm honored to be here with you to talk about how we can develop tourism in our continent, Africa. And to begin with, I would like to share you some stories so that we can have a better understanding about the African aviation environment. Let me take you back in 1940s when Ethiopian Airlines was established. Our airline was established back in 1945, to be exact, around December, and started its first flight 1946 to this very land, Cairo. So it's a nice coincidence for Ethiopian Airlines to talk about tourism and connectivity in Cairo, because we have historical ties between airlines and Cairo. Cairo is our first destination when we start our flight back in 1946. And then after that, in 1960s, when all African countries were working on nation building, Ethiopian Airlines was playing the crucial role in terms of connecting Africa together. So we were there when African countries were building nations after the colonial period. And in 1962, we started the first flight and we connected Africa, east and western parts, following the establishment of the Organization of the African Union. And then we have been growing in leaps and bounds. And in 1960s, Africa, in order for one African person to travel to another African country, there was a need for that person to go to Europe and then come back to Africa. Imagine the hassle. So the existence of Ethiopian Airlines back then has created a big opportunity for African brothers and sisters to fly within the continent freely with own airline, Ethiopian Airlines. So we are very proud to talk about African connectivity. We currently fly to 62 cities in Africa. It's quite big, right? So we have been connecting all the cities in Africa. We have very few that are not covered by our network. We are still working on it. And when it comes to connectivity, there is no other airline than Ethiopian Airlines that connects the 62 cities among themselves, and as well as connecting them to the rest of the world. We currently fly to 132 global destinations, and we have 22 local destinations as well. When we come to our cargo business, we have flights to almost every part of the continent, and we give what Ethiopian Airlines has to offer for the African continent, because this is where we belong. We have to support Africa, and we have to do our very best in terms of growing tourism, connectivity, business, and trade among African cities as well as to the rest of the world. Having this in mind, Ethiopian Airlines is now, it's not an airline, it is an airline group. We have around 9 strategic business units, and then those units are working towards making profitable journeys and profitable aviation in the African soil. And we are also partnering with different African airlines, different governments in the African continent to establish their own airlines. Not only 62 cities in Africa we currently fly, we are also trying to establish connectivity in other parts of the continent. We can take West Africa as an example. We have Aska Airways, our partner airline, which was established back in 2010. It's a regional airline. It's connecting the west part of the continent, especially cities in the western part. And we have also other airlines, Zambia Airlines and the South, and as well as Malawian Airlines. So we are working with these airlines so that Africa will be fully covered and connected among itself. Now, in the near future, hoping that governments will ease travel bans and visa restrictions that we have been talking in the morning by the previous panelists, we hope that African skies will be open. And Ethiopian Airlines has been the champion for single African air transport market. So we'll keep doing our very best, of course, by providing seamless connectivity to our customers, as well as providing affordable and competitive rates. So it's always a pleasure for us to be here. I will be back with some other additional points. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Henok.